Okay. Going to get started in 1 minute. All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 10-Minute Trades Trade Room. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director for 10-Minute Trades. Please remember that all trades are for educational purposes, and it is possible to lose money trading futures, so trade carefully. All right. So I got an email about 2 hours ago that CQG data is not working properly, that the types of orders that we place are not working, and they won't work. So I've been dealing with tech support. It has to do with CQG and AMP is what they said. If you're a Ninja Trader customer and Ninja Trader is your broker, it shouldn't be an issue for you, which most of you probably fit that criteria, especially if you're new. You're not allowed to use AMP as a broker. Now, the funny thing is, you could see, I don't know if you can see on my platform, but I'm profitable by 50 cents. Only because I tested my orders and everything seems to be working. So, you know, it's my job to be careful. It's not my job to be reckless. It's not my job to I'm an educator, so I need to be smart because you're counting on me to be smart. So my first piece of advice would be, if that you are an AMP customer, and if you're being cleared by AMP, you might want to sit the trade out, or you might want to trade very, very small, and you better have the phone number of the trade desk handy if something should happen, so you could call them. What they told me is that the orders won't be placed. Now, just a couple of minutes ago, I did a breakout trade and it worked perfectly. So Ninja, I also, obviously, I didn't just talk to AMP, I talked to Ninja, I talked to Optimus, because we use multiple brokers. Ninja doesn't know anything about it. So it doesn't appear to be. So it always seems to be a case of someone not telling me the truth. I mean, I would think if there's a CQG problem, it would be across every broker. It wouldn't just be one broker. If it's a CQG, because CQG is a data provider. At least that's what my tech support at Ninja thought also. So all I'm saying is, for what it means is I have to trade this more carefully than I normally would, with a smaller amount of contracts. I mean, that's really what I'm just gonna probably trade 2 contracts instead of 5. Only because I'm not 100%. Whenever I'm not 100% certain about safety, then I definitely err on the side of being extra safe. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to be extra safe. I'm not sure who to believe because it does appear that my orders are working fine. And our software does use one cancels the other type of orders. And you see that, you place an order, you get filled into a trade, and the orders on the other side get canceled. That's OCO orders, and that's exactly what AMP told me wasn't working. It's exactly what worked perfectly when I traded a couple of minutes ago. So while I'm here, I'm also checking my email because they said they would email. And I really just don't see anything that's related to the issue being resolved. Did anybody else get that email from AMP? Carlos, you got it? Are you an AMP customer? Jeremiah, you got it? Did anybody do any testing with? So what I did is I traded micros, because, you can test live. Carlos, you got it? You got an email from Ninja? Because I talked to Ninja directly and they said no, that everything was fine with them. It was just an amp issue is what it seems like. Mark, you didn't hear from anyone? Right. Ninja, Dorman, I would think would be fine also. You know what? I'm not trying to scare anybody. It's just my job to tell you what I've been told is going on. So I'm not going to trade large. I'm going to just trade a couple of contracts and 50 cents in my family money account is an extra 50 cents, but it's probably less because it costs more to trade than 50 cents. But so I've got my email open. What might happen is my orders might not get filled. My trade might not take place. It's possible. That's AMP told me that nothing bad would happen. What would happen would be that my orders would not get filled. That's what they told me. So that's what's going on. So just giving everybody a heads up, because that's my job. All right. So I'm going to trade, I guess, just 2 contracts with corn. My initial thinking is corn. Let's take a look at the daily market report. This is a family money trade. Steve, you can't get connected with Ninja. I don't think it's related. Reboot your platform and maybe even your computer. Cliff, you should reboot your platform also. Anytime anything's screwed up, reboot your platform, reboot your computer. Famous last words, nothing's going to happen, right? Right. Carlos, always the truth. I mean, I did trade live with my strategy and everything seems fine. So I'm going to set up my trades, like I said, small and trade small. The contract is 12, Terry. The contract is 12. The volume is much larger on 12. It was 12 last week for the grain report, the daily grain report. It's 100%. 12 on corn, 11 on soybeans. Famous last words, right? Look, things can happen. It's all part of trading. You don't want to give your money to the market. I mean, that's the truth, right? You don't want to give your money to the market. If I hadn't done a test live, I would not trade. Okay. I think, if you do your testing, that's what you do. That should should keep me safe. So we'll see what happens, right? Let's take a quick look at the daily market report. I do a couple of things slightly differently, not much. I use a 6 bracket with corn. I use a 6 bracket these days. I use a slightly smaller target. Bear with me, folks, okay? Bear with me. Let me see if, up. Nope. It's all right. So what I do is I set up 2 trades on this report. Okay, so you got a bracket of 5. I use a bracket of 6, and I use a slightly smaller target. I think actually 7 is fine as a target. Usually when I'm trading larger, I'll trade 7, 15, 24, somewhere in there. Stop of 10. This is a report that's been moving very, very well as of late. It did get stopped in February, but it's really been moving well. The setup that I use is just a tiny bit different. I use a bracket of 6 because of volatility. 1 target. I'm going to use 6 ticks, and I'm going to use 16 on my second. That makes up for my slightly bigger bracket. Now, normally this trade I don't cancel because it has gone through periods where it's quite late. Stephen, the bracket is the number of ticks above and below the current price that the software places on the chart. That's what the bracket is. In other words, when we're trading a breakout trade, we're putting a price above and below the current price at the time of the activation, which is 11:59.59. Okay? So I'm going to set up 2 trades, one that'll be active, 1 target for 6 ticks, 1 for 16, a stop of 10. Entry time is 11:59.59. Try creating another chart, Cliff. 11:59.59. Entry time, breakout trade, trading corn. I'm labeling the trade corn. Okay, I'll show you why. And that's my trade. All right. That's my first trade up here. If I enable it, my logo will show up. I'm also going to set up a soybean trade on my other chart because I've had an instance previously where corn did something so volatile before a trade, before the news came out, that I was able to change from corn to soybeans for the trade. And that was April, I believe. I'll show you. I have the video. The bracket is bigger on soybeans. They are whippier, okay? They are whippier. Bracket of 8, one target for 7, one target for 17. The stop is 12. And I don't enter any trade at 58. 11:59.59 for me. And then I'm going to label it. I'm setting it up live, but I'm not going to enable the trade. But I'll have it available. I have the trade available. So let's say corn behaves very strangely before the news comes out. I can uncheck the X. I can uncheck this little X and check this other X. And that's how fast I've changed which instrument I'm trading. Okay? You can do it very fast. Albert, the price per tick is just like the mini S&P. It's $12.50 per tick. The margin is around 2,000 per contract. And it varies. You want to check with your broker. If you have a very, if your account is tiny, you must check your margins, okay? Let me show you what happened. Cliff, unfortunately, I can't tech support charts now. You understand. I'm not sure, other than a new chart, rebooting computer, everything. Put a different instrument on the chart, go back to the instrument you want to trade. Those are some of the things I try when I have a problem. And if things aren't right, don't trade, obviously. Don't trade. Let's check our time. Go to the website, time.is. Check our time sync. And I'm in sync. What happened in April is watch corn, see what corn did? That was a move before the news came out. It was 10 seconds before the news. That we call that a trigger to cancel. It's an unsafe behavior. And I changed my trade to soybeans, and the trade worked and was profitable. And the irony was corn worked that day also, because it kept moving up in the same direction. But I had every reason to change instruments because it was a very unsafe move, it was an abnormal move. So change from ZC 1221 to ZC 921, and then go back to ZC 1221 and see if that makes any difference. They both move well, but I like corn better because it's less whippy. I generally trade corn on the grain trades. There were periods where corn got very quiet, and we traded soybeans on some trades. But very honestly, they both move pretty well. You're allowed to trade both. I generally have been trading corn way more than soybeans. Last month, the WASDE was a very nice trade. Unfortunately, it's a bad video. Every now and then I have corrupted videos, and I can tell this one is a corrupted video. It'll let me show the trade, but it's a little tricky to just get to the time. So bear with me. Here we go. So 10 seconds. And it shoots up, hits the first target, hits the second target. It was a very nice trade. Look, I could trade one contract with no target also. This report sometimes reverses very quickly also. But I mean, if I can trust AMP, then I'll either just have a regular trade or no trade. If they were telling me correct information, that the order just won't get filled. Now, because this report does have some history of pretty high pre-trade volatility, it's not one of the trades that I'm very interested in trading without our software. In other words, if it's, you know, a trade like the bond trade is much more manageable without software because you can place your orders, and it's not an exploding kind of volatile report usually, but just based on the volatile activity that we sometimes see from corn and soy, this is a harder trade, excuse me, to trade without software, without our software, because our software automatically puts your entries on the chart. Both corn and soy are volatile, but usually before the trade. That's normal. It's pretty normal behavior. You know, if you get a 20 tick move, then that's a big move that might make you think about canceling a trade. You know, a 10 tick move is allowed. 20 tick moves in the minute before a report is possible reason to cancel. How do you quickly cancel a trade? Uncheck the checkbox. Okay? Uncheck the checkbox. This is a breakout trade, yes. So I'm using a 6 bracket on corn, targets of 6 and 17. Is that what we said? bracket of 6. Yep, 6 and 16. 6 and 16 on my targets. Stop is 10. What's really weird, Wally? Oh, Cliff, you're talking to Wally. So you got about 5 minutes. And WASDE is a family money trade. So I want to thank everybody for visiting with us today. So I'm watching both corn and soybeans are up on the day. And we have found in these types of reports what we call a fairly high impact report. What the index has been doing that day doesn't always mean very much, because a report has impact because the index is responding to the news. Now, what I've been hearing about Ninja as of late is they have been demanding that people email them and enable more and more of the instruments for trading. And I'm wondering if that might be some of your issues. In other words, one of our members tried to trade Ultra Bonds, UB, and Ninja wouldn't, the trade didn't go through. And Ninja said, "Oh, I'm sorry, you had to email us and let us know that you were trading that instrument." So we had never heard of that before, except with a couple of very unusual brand new instruments, but not with what we call standard kind of traditional instruments. We had never experienced that before. So soybeans are an 8 bracket, corn is a 6 bracket. We've got about 2 minutes to go. Things are calm this morning. WASDE on a Monday is a little bit unusual. Cliff, it's usually not a Dorman Phillips issue. Usually. Have never really had an experience where we've had to ever contact Dorman or Phillips. I would not trade soybeans probably because of that unstable move. All right. Okay, so the trade worked perfectly, so I don't know what they were talking about. I'm canceling my trade. I'm out in the market. I never mind I'm canceling all my orders by right clicking the trade panel, cancel all orders just to be safe. We made $275 in 1 second. Okay. So look, I tested, I tested the platform and everything seemed okay. All right. So everybody that's new here, if you'd allow me to spend 1 minute selling before we close the room, I will answer questions and show the trade. But for the folks that are new, let me just show you real quickly. This is why you should join up with us before the week's over. If you liked what you saw and you want to trade with me instead of just watching me, you can get the software, come into the trade room, take advantage of our financial fireworks program. It's ending soon. You can make we're making $1,000 and $1,048 an hour trading. You get 5 months in the room, 5 months of the software, 5 months of the DMMs. It's a value of $2,475, and it's just $497. I never sell in the room, folks. I never sell in the room. www.10minutetrades.com/fireworks. Okay. I highly expect you should all join. It's not a subscription. It's a one-time investment. You can read over the warranty. What are you waiting for? Folks, you can start trading tomorrow if you can get yourself going. $497 www.10minutetrades.com/fireworks. Let's talk about the trade. First of all, Calvin, you had massive slippage, sold the bottom tick. I don't know why you would have that much slippage in that trade. Let's look at the video. Unless you're dealing with an issue, Calvin, of very slow internet, something of that sort. Is that possible, Calvin? Is that possible? Now I'm looking to see who's in the room.
Hey Lee, it's Eric here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey everyone, Eric Spiker here. Well, behind the scenes, Lee, I also traded, and I actually just shared I just shared a screenshot of my trade if you want to pull it up as well.
I don't even know how to do it. So let me see
No,
if I can click
that's
on
okay.
you. Hold on. I can click.
Oh,
I
okay.
should be able to click on you.
It's okay. Well, for those that don't know me, I'm Eric Spiker. I'm one of the co-founders of 10-Minute Trades, and some of you may have seen my video that I shared July 4th, and one of the things that I talked about is getting more involved with trading, and so here I am. Keep to my words, and so yeah, I traded WASDE as well. And Lee, you know what happened is that I only traded with one contract. Okay, full
Okay.
disclosure. My computer was acting a little funny before the trade, and unfortunately, I didn't get my Camtasia recorder tool to work. But I didn't want to miss out on the trade. This is, guys, this is actually one of my favorite trades. Uh, in fact, I once took this trade. When I was right out of school, I worked for an accounting firm right in Midtown Manhattan. And as we all see, this trade comes out on noon. So I literally took this trade with my laptop at the Majestic Deli. With one contract, I made $700. This is going back to like 2013. But here we are today again, and I traded just one contract. I made $200, Lee. Did you trade two contracts?
I traded two, and I
Okay.
made 275. 50.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything. I'm an admin too, so I could play around. I could show my face. Oh, so that's the
Right.
wrong camera.
Yeah, no, that's the cam. The reason we can't see your screen is because you have to share it.
No, I will. But I just put my web camera on, but it picked up my laptop's camera. I was
Right.
trying to show. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, Lee, I think I kind of interrupted your analysis of did you pull up
I
the
didn't pull the
WASDE
video up
results?
yet. No, so I'll pull up
Okay.
the video in a minute. You could finish. You
Pull it
could.
up. Do your thing. I'm gonna bring my screenshot up. And by the way, the focus is never on me or Lee. It's always about members. So in the chat room. Nimro made $592 on his first family trade ever. Congratulations, Nimro. Jeffrey, $600. How many contracts can you guys? I just want to engage with everybody a little bit. So Nimro, how many contracts did you trade? And Jeffrey, same. Okay, so Nimro, 3 contracts, almost $600. Jeffrey, 4 contracts, $600. Now tell me, Nemo and Francisco, forgive me, Lee probably knows you better than me, but give me an idea of how long you've been trading our system for. Okay, and by the way, Mark traded 4 contracts, $762.50. Yeah, this is definitely why. I mean, it doesn't to be one of your favorite trades. Obviously, it needs to be a winner. So Lee, am I stepping on your show?
No, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay, because you could always overtalk me anytime.
No problem.
So yeah, actually that's helpful to know. So one of the rules, not rules, but one of the protocols is when you're sharing your results, definitely if it's always when you're sharing you made money, always specify if it's sim. Otherwise, if you're putting a dollar sign on there, I'm assuming it's real. So let's just do another rundown. Oh, I did something here. Oh, I hit the webcam again. Yeah, so I have 2 cameras. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I could do it. I figured it out. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah, I haven't figured out how to do a background. Legal, it's currently, would you like
All
to
right,
record
so
your
now it's got you.
But it's only got me, right? And I don't like that. Can
You
everyone
want to
only see
share
me?
your screen. You see the
Oh,
computer up top at the top of the trade room
yeah,
taskbar?
yeah,
Pick that.
yeah. Oh. No, I think it's one or the other. So I think there should be a way to do both.
Now, I'll stop sharing for a second. See if it now allows you to share by clicking that computer. What you want to
Okay.
click is HD regular bandwidth recommended.
Okay. Okay. And by the way, for the folks if you don't mind recapping how much money you made, whether sim is real, I'm going to get back to that in a second. I want to congratulate everybody. And whether you're sim trading, it's nothing to take away. I just want a full disclosure. So it's loading, Lee. I was just trying to pull up my trade. I emailed it to you. So while I'm trying to load up, if you could pick up your email,
Okay, I'll
it's
show
there.
it. I'll show it.
Okay.
First, here's what I'm going to do. Here's, if you watch your screens,
Oh,
everybody, this is the
I
real
got it. I got
trade.
it. Oh, okay. Okay.
So
Bear with
here's
me.
what happened in the trade. It was 12 o'clock, the news came out.
Oh, I thought
And
you
like I
messed up.
said, WASDE, we don't cancel, even though it was a little bit, tiny bit slow. Now, Calvin, I'm a little concerned that you didn't get a decent fill on that because I got filled pretty high up on the candle, if you see where I got filled. So we may want to figure out why your fill was not strong. And Jeffrey, my entry was 528.20, 525.25, 525.25. Okay, Calvin, you had the wrong contract. That'll do it every time. That'll do it. Okay. Okay. My entry for everybody that's trading anywhere in the world, a good entry should be around 525.25. Okay. And trading small targets, you could see that it went way past my target. I could have doubled my second target. My concern today was I got an email from my broker that I shouldn't trade. So I don't know what their issue is or what their deal is, but their info didn't seem to be correct. So I traded because
Lisa,
I did a small
yeah, so
test.
I think can you hear me, Lee, still?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, and everyone could see Lee's screen, right? So we'll just leave it on. We'll do some testing. I don't want to.
Yeah, I'll pull yours up. right now.
No, it's okay. But I actually got a better entry than you,
What was
and
your
I did
fill?
use it was a 525 0, so
Okay,
525 flat. I got in a tick ahead of you.
right.
So maybe my computer is
Maybe it's
is very
usable. Yeah, I'm worried
yeah,
about. I'm a little worried about Eric's computer. It's a
yeah,
little bit older.
yeah. My training machine is a little. My training. I have a customized training machine, which is a little older. It's time, I think, for me to get something faster. And my exit was 520.75, and I only traded one contract. Does that make sense?
And
No,
uh,
no, no. Yeah, does that make sense? Doesn't make sense to me.
no, you traded. What was your entry and what was your target? It's
Does it?
1250 a tick. It's 1250 a tick.
Yeah, I mean, you could see on the screenshot. I mean, it just
Yeah, let
doesn't
me
make
pull
sense.
up your screenshot. I'll pull it up right now. Hang on.
I mean, on the what it says there, it sounds like I made like only 3 ticks, but that's I have $200 on the board. That doesn't make sense.
Bear
All
with
right, so
me.
getting back to our everyone else here. So Cliff made a sim trade of $300. Okay, Nimro was real. Okay, so Nimro made he's only been trading for 3 weeks. Okay, and by the way, I think we have
So
nice
here's your
nice
screen, Eric.
yeah. Yeah, so so this is my screenshot. I even left my account number on there, and you could see it was a real life trade. But I don't know why
So you got
the
filled here at this purple,
yes.
and yes, something's. You made 20. You were actually you made one, say $200 because it was $8 negative when we started, but still, it doesn't make sense based on the graphics. So what you want to do is look at your
I still have
um,
it open actually.
in your Ninja Trader. Like, let's say you
Okay.
were a real customer. I would tell you to look at your executions, make it a full size screen, and there should be a sell and a buy. Okay, one of each, and the sell should be a price next to it, and then where you bought it back should be a price next to it.
Yeah, I have
And
it
it should
open
be
here.
more than 3 ticks because 3 ticks is only $75. Not even
Oh, oh yeah,
37.50,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Go back to the
37.50.
picture. Go back to the picture. Yeah, it's definitely. I think we maybe I need better glasses. It was the exit was 525, which makes more sense. If you go back to the screenshot.
Okay, right. Your entry wasn't 25. Well, wait, that doesn't make. Here's your screenshot.
No, 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 no. It makes sense. It makes sense. It's even though it's saying five. Uh, oh no, I sold at
No,
five.
you sold at 525 and you
Oh
hit
no,
your
no,
target at
at 520.
520.
Yeah. So that
520.
yeah,
That makes total sense.
yeah,
That's 5 points
yes.
and 3 ticks. Five
I think
points and three ticks.
yeah. I think I made like seven. I think I had 17 ticks.
That's correct.
Right.
Yeah, it's 4 ticks per point, just like the S&P. We were just
Yeah.
reading it wrong. You went from 525 to 520.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's
So
that's
go. Yes.
plenty of
And that
ticks.
was yeah. And just so you know, like I said, I did. This is actually one of those bread and butter ones too, right? So
Yeah.
I didn't actually have to get out of the trade. It hit my target.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
And then
17 ticks.
yeah, it hit the 17 ticks, and then it was a great. I think it was a great target. Did anyone have any higher targets? Who I think you had. What was your
I
bigger
used
target?
17. I would have used 22 if it was safe to trade, but I was just a little bit worried because of the email I got.
What was everyone's second target or your biggest target? What was the? Just want
So
to know
Mark
what
had
you.
a 24.
Okay.
He
Did
had
it
a
get
target of
filled, Mark,
24.
or did you pull it, or did you
I
execute
would think,
manually?
Mark, I would assume you got filled on that target.
Okay, so Mark only had one target of 24, and my question to you, Mark, did it get filled or did you have to move manually?
He got filled.
He got filled all three. Beautiful, Mark.
Hmm.
Look at
Hmm.
that. 24 tick profit target got filled. So that's a beautiful bread and butter right there. When you can make 24 ticks, Lee, and
Absolutely.
uh, and not have to worry about moving to get out of the trade. And so this is what I'm describing here for some of our newer members, and for folks who are still watching and still trying to see if this is a good fit. So one of the things we love, and by the way, Lee, we have another trade coming up, don't we?
Yeah, we might as well just stay in the room.
Okay.
It's
Sorry,
12:30.
guys. As you could tell, I actually do love this stuff. And if I'm going to be in the room, I'm going to be talking a little bit. But I love when members make money. And what's most important to me is that we understand why we made money. So WASDE is one of those trades where you don't really see the forecast actual so cleanly. Is there a resource, Lee, that you like to look at to see the results? Is
Well,
there a
the
page
only
that we
thing
can
you
look
can
at?
do is you can eventually, it's too late. There's nothing you can look at during the trade. After
Right,
the
right, right.
trade, you could go to the U.S. Department of Agriculture's website. But it's an extremely complicated report also to read.
Hmm.
So to answer your question, there really isn't a resource until the trade's well done, well passed.
Okay.
I call them invisible trades. It's a trade. It's like API. You don't see the report, the news. You just don't get it.
Hmm.
And that's why I don't cancel it either, because it often, sometimes, not often, but it at plenty of times it goes past the 20-second cancel, and it'll be a good
Right.
trade.
Yeah. So the main thing for today is that we had a little thing with the CQG announcement. We weren't sure if our strategy was going to work with OCO. You confirmed, Lee, that we should be fine, and you tested, right? Who did
Right.
you speak to?
I talked to every broker, and AMP was the only one who said there was a problem. But I actually traded live with micros
Hmm.
before
Yeah.
the WASDE.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm really having a great time here, and I'm really happy to see a lot of members. And I'm reading the chat feedback. So Mark, thanks for your feedback on the family money trades. The kudos is to Lee. Think we've done a nice job in really identifying the best of the best. It's not only about the best trades. These are the trades that, and that's why we call them family money. Are you willing to risk your family's money? Are you willing to tell Uncle Jimmy? And so these are the ones that we have confidence in. Of course, we have to be mindful. We're not educators. Um, there's a lot of risk in futures trading, and if for anyone who's opened up a futures trading account, you know that because there's so many disclosures when you open up your account. But I am very pleased with our performance today, Lee. And I want to make sure we give kudos to everybody because it seems like a few of the members that typed in are actually quite new. So that excites me to see people making trades. Some are sims, but most of them are real. And it's only been a few weeks. That's fantastic.
And there are new people, especially because our sales going on. So
Yeah.
that's why there's a lot of new people
Yeah.
also.
So I'm gonna go and come back, everyone. But I just wanted to say, is anybody who watched today, any questions for me? I'm here right now, or any questions specifically on the trade that you wanna get more information on? Otherwise, Ali, what were you gonna go over?
I was just going to show the video one more time and maybe even just take 5 minutes to do
Yeah,
that, to
let's
get
do it.
my
Yeah,
coffee and,
yeah.
because we have time for the next trade. Normally it's
Go ahead.
12:30.
Yeah,
So let
cue
me
up the
show you
trade.
all the trade one more time. So here's what happened. And what's interesting is watch soybeans, because soybeans had a very unsafe move prior to the trade, prior to the news. And I didn't, so soybeans are on the right if you watch soybeans.
You traded that live too, Lee?
No, I didn't, because I leave soybeans set up in case corn has an unusual move before the trade. But WASDE sometimes can require too much trade management. But look at the
Right.
move that soybeans had prior to the news. It was a very dramatic move. That might have been a reason not to trade soybeans if I was only trading soybeans. And that's a history of this trade. And that's why our knowledge, knowing that these indexes sometimes are not unsafe, but very volatile before the trade, that's why I set up two trades. I had both trades set up. All I have to do is check that X box to change trades. Now, soybeans looked like they were difficult. They were not as good and not as steady Look at that reversal. Soybeans
Yeah.
much tougher to make money on that trade, in my opinion, than corn. And that's the main reason I like corn. It was choppy,
Can you
and that's why you want to be careful with your targets. You don't want to be greedy on this
can you
report.
reverse the video a little bit, and can we just, yeah, I think everyone's watching both ones. Let's just focus on the corn for a second. Let's pause the video. Let's
So
see how many
corn's on the
seconds we,
left.
yeah, let's focus on on the corn on the left. Let's see how many seconds we had, to get out with the profit. So,
So
so pause
corn,
right there. Pause
it
right there.
popped all the way up to the first target.
Yeah.
But corn, you wanted to do what we did, which you had time because it was hanging
Yeah.
around, but it was very choppy, very choppy,
Yeah. No, definitely
but
having the profit
safer.
target. Yeah, having the profit target out there and a realistic profit target, and even the 24 tick one. Kudos again to you, Mark. Was a great play because look what's happening right now. Pause.
Yeah, right
Does
there it
everyone?
was stop
Yeah,
out
but
time.
yeah, does everyone understand? Just the describing the behavioral characteristics of that candle. Look where it's at right now. We made our money, right? If you point your mouse lead to where it's at right now on the left, we made all of our money below the R1, right?
Way
That's
down
where we
there.
got.
Yep.
Yeah. So for those again trying to see the benefit and understanding, like, what makes the style of trading so cool, is that look, we that 12 seconds where we made that, how much you made 270, 275.
Yeah.
That's we've mastered a way, right? We've been doing this for 8 years now, of cap, how do we can we capture those 12 seconds and make the money. For the folks who say stay away from the news, etc., well, after 12 seconds, look, we see what happened afterwards, and that's not what we're in for. So that's what I just, end of the day, bracket, it's a bracket trade, right? But
Right.
you take it a little bit deeper, and you try to appreciate a little bit more about what we're doing here. And what we did here is that we were able to very carefully, right? Because everything we do is studied. We were able to figure out a very conservative profit target range for us to capture that move. And we did it. And guess what? If you're greedy, went for that 25th, 26th, I'm not sure if over 30 ticks, you would have got burned on the way up. And that's what we want to avoid doing. So stopping there, any questions on the corn, and then I know not to, Weldon, I want to acknowledge. So Weldon, for example, traded both, right? You won on corn, and then ZZ's got stopped. And I know that that's something, Lee, that you've been also doing once in a
I don't do
while.
that much, nor do I
Yeah.
recommend it on this trade.
Yeah.
I would not have
And
done it.
what's the old adage there? The old adage is, I went fishing yesterday with my 6-year-old son, my father, and my uncle. We were in the Catskills, upstate New York. And for anyone who's fished before, it's like fishing with two rods, right? It's like, you're fishing with a lure, and then you throw one with some live bait. But in my experience, it never works well. It's always a better thing, especially when you're trading live, to focus on one. Because look what would have happened here. And I'm glad that you made money, Weldon, on corn. If for some reason that whole stop thing could have been a really big distraction on the soybeans, then you're at more risk of not getting out of the trade. So that's kind of the old adage, is focusing on one contract. But I'm gonna go, Lee. I'm gonna give you back the room, and I'm gonna, this way. I don't know if Lee's getting annoyed, but this is
No,
fun,
I'm
isn't
not
it, Lee?
annoyed. It's fine. Yeah, it's great to make money. There's nothing better.
Hey, listen, this is my first time in the room in a while, so everyone's making money, and I'm really happy. But what do we got going on? Well, we have another trade coming up, but yeah, I know you mentioned the sale, Lee. You mind just pulling up the sales page one more time, if I could just give my own insights about it, just really quickly. Yeah, and so yeah, so I this financial fireworks program. I mean, Lee has done a phenomenal job, and we also have great team members behind the scenes. I mean, this was set up for folks that really said, you know what, I've seen what you've been guys are doing, and I just want to come in, um, and I want to start trading, and I want to start learning and exploring more, I mean, this financial fireworks program, Lee's kind of gone through everything that it has, but basically, uh, it has everything that you need to be able to start trading and understanding what you're doing. I was watching Lee the whole time when I set up for the WASDE trade. That's probably one of the coolest things about this, is that I was setting up the trade on my computer, watching Lee set up for the corn trade, and I literally watched him to the T, put in the settings for the strategy, and there I was able to watch him get out of the trade. So this is something I just want to make sure folks for on the fence. I mean, winner after winner. Make sure you don't sleep on this. And I know Lee was very generous to open up the trade room for the rest of the week, so I'm sure we'll be talking more about this. But fantastic opportunity, and I want to say great job again to all of our new members. All right, Lee, you go ahead and do your thing. I'll
Okay.
be back. What's the 1 o'clock trade, bonds?
Yeah, 10-year bonds.
10-year bonds. All right, guys, I'll be back. And yeah, great job, everybody. Lee, you do your thing. I'm
Okay,
assuming
Eric. See you later.
you're gonna see you later.
No problem. All right. I'm not throwing you out.
Lee is definitely throwing me out.
No, not throwing you out.
No, he's not throwing me out. But I'll be back, Lee. All right. And
All right.
congrats,
I'll see you
everybody.
later. Okay. Well, then I wanted to address one of your questions. You asked so is the bracket range time affected by that pop down? So I think you're confused, okay? The bracket range time is not even affected in this trade. In other words, the only time that has any effect at all in this trade is the entry time, okay? The bracket, if what you're asking me is any of the other times, like the range start time, they don't have any bearing on this trade. When you're trading a breakout trade, the only time that matters is the entry time, because a breakout trade only has one time involved in the trade. A range trade, which is a completely different setup, it's a different trade type, range trade, right? Then you're dealing with the start of the range, what time is the range starting, and then the entry time is the entry time. But you need two times if you have a range, the start time and the actual trigger time of the trade. But don't be confused because your question doesn't really make sense. When you say is the bracket range time, I don't really understand that question. The entry can affect the biggest issues that affect where you get filled are entry time, the activation time of the trade, the moment that you put your orders on the chart, and the size of your bracket. Those are the two most critical issues in the way that a trade works, okay? So I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. But there are trades that are so difficult to trade even with one contract that, given that you're so new, I'm very surprised that you would trade both at the same time. It's just an exorbitant amount of risk. Too much risk. Especially when you're new, you should be taking a couple of weeks to really get the feel of what's going on, okay? The trade type doesn't change anything. The options in the strategy are what we put in. They're what we put in. So, Weldon, you're a new member. You should be getting on our website and you should be watching the quick start videos. This goes for everybody that's a new member. There are so many educational videos on our website that everybody that's a member should be watching. The quick start videos back to school are very important to watch. So it'll just help you save time. Help you save time in learning what the various options in the strategy can do. Okay. So I would recommend that everybody do that. That's a member. It may be the software is always changing, Weldon, and we're always using different setups, but a breakout is a breakout is a breakout. There's other setups that we may not be using now, you know, depending on when the video was put up. But there's still a lot of info that's worthwhile to watch. You know, setting up the, even just setting up the charts, watching trades on our YouTube channel is helpful also. There's a lot of resources, a lot of resources. Obviously, coming into the trade room is the best thing to do. There's nothing better, nothing better. And honestly, if I'm trading corn, I'm not trading soybeans for a strong reason. And the reason is because the way they behaved today, they're very whippy and harder to make money with. To me, soybeans are not necessarily a family money trade where corn would be. Corn would be. But coming into the trade, and that's why we include the trade room with this program, because being in the trade room is critical. It's critical, I believe, anyway. It's the key to keep you, you know, make sure you're trading the right setup also. Now, everybody personalizes their targets. I don't expect people to use the same targets. I don't. And I wouldn't want you to use my targets all the time. You can learn by watching what I do, but ultimately, look, Mark made money. Well, the truth is, Weldon, there's sometimes there could be 4 indexes that would move on a trade. The key is, don't start trading live until you know the answer to that question. That's number one. You should not be trading live if you don't know the answer to that question. If you're confused, don't trade live because you're going to lose money. Make sure you ask. Make sure you ask so you know what's going on. It's critical. It's critical. Sometimes there will be 2 indexes, but one often will be better than the other. And in the room, I would say I'm almost always going to be trading the one that's better, that's safer. I'm definitely not trading the riskier index, even if it might make more money when it wins, because that riskier index is probably going to get stopped out more than the one that I'm trading. I'd rather make a little less more often than struggle with an index that doesn't behave itself. And soybeans are whippy. And that's also the big reason why we're always bugging people to practice previous trades. Practice and learn how to do replay. It's very important to learn how to do replay. So we have another trade to get ready for. And that's a good point, Jeffrey. I'm always trading the chart on the left, and I'm often watching the chart on the right. That's a very good point. Yeah, the ZB trade is a small trade. It's definitely not a big moving trade by any means, normally, the 10-year. Now, I reboot my platform in between trades. So what I'm going to do is put the ZB on the chart. ZB 921 is what our trade is. I also watch ZN 921 on the other chart, but I don't trade ZN on this next report. I just don't. Okay. I'm trading ZB, and now I'm going to reboot my platform, because when I have a trade, I just like to start fresh. So starting fresh to me, if I was here by myself, in my office and I wasn't the trade room moderator, I would reboot my computer between trades. That's just because I'm a nut. I'm definitely a nut. Most people don't care. But I like to start fresh, reboot. And you could say I'm a little bit of a nut, and I am. And now I'm going to put the news up because this will be a report that has a news result, but it's a report that it just does what it kind of wants to do. The news isn't really an issue for us in the behavior of this particular report. It's not like a data, like a CPI report or a GDP report, but there is a result from this auction. There will be a price that the auction takes place at. Okay? So I'll put that info up. The 10-year note auction. Some websites call it a bond. It's my understanding it's a note. And I also, don't forget, folks, I also use Financial Juice in the background. Financial Juice is a squawk box. I use their squawk box, okay? So I can hear them. I can hear them talking in my earphone, and they will announce the news result, usually before it shows up on the website that we're watching, okay? So now the 10-year note is not a bad trade. It's not a gigantic mover generally. Let me see if I have last month's video, which I should. 624, nope, 620, bear with me. Let me show you, it was 6921. This was last month's 10-year note. Now the bond auctions, sometimes they'll really pop, and sometimes they won't do anything. And of course, sometimes you'll get stopped. I mean, anything can happen in any trade. So this was this was June 9th. Should be, if I'm showing the right one. Let me make sure. Yeah, here it is. So June 9th. And we put our orders on the chart 13:01:30. Very, very specific time of day that we put our orders on the chart. So you'll see 13:01:30. Here we go. Our orders are going to show up. Trading ZB. So you can see 15 seconds, no activity. Usually we give this report 60, minimum 60 seconds. Usually even longer before we would cancel. See, it got filled. You can tell when the report comes out. Not a very big move. It just barely touching that first target. Barely hits the first target. Just, this is a pretty dull Pretty dull report last month. And you could see everything is so tight, so tight. Didn't even make money, just struggled to make money on that report. But it's okay. These are, because they have an opportunity, every now and then the bond trade will really move. They'll really move. So that was last month, very quiet, a very quiet bond trade. Let's look at the month before. This was May 12th. $13.01.30. So see, my orders are on the chart. You get a little bit of a pop. Much better pop than the previous month. And still, it sometimes they have a tendency to pop and drop. Pop and drop. So if you move your stop to safety, you might give up some profit. And that's one of the challenging issues of a trade. Do you move, how fast do you move your stop to safety? There's many, many different things that will make up whether you make money in a trade or not. How you move your stop. And it's very difficult. Everybody has different risk levels. You might move your stop way before I do. Some people move their stop way after I do. This was April's report. So 1301.30, there's the orders on the chart, 1301.30. There's the fill. The fill took 40 seconds, 49 seconds, 40 seconds, 1301.30. No, it was 49, I'm sorry. And it was pretty dull. This report's been pretty quiet lately. It's been pretty quiet. So there's certain issues you want to think about with the bond reports. The ZB is $31 a tick, $31.25. Okay, $31.25 a tick. That's a large tick value. So if you get a good move, that also means you get a good opportunity to make a profit. Now, a couple of people traded the wrong contract. Now, just because our report, what if our report has a mistake? You got to know how to know which is the right contract. What you want to do is go to New, go to Market Analyzer. When you go to New and Market Analyzer, it brings up this screen. I've created a template that I can load in called daily volume. All right. You want to trade the contract that has the highest volume. It's very important. So I have this little template. It just shows the instrument, the daily volume, and days until rollover. I right click it and I can add the instrument I'm looking at. So ZB921. Now the next contract forward is ZB1221. Okay, I'm sure it's not trading that. If you look at ZB621, there probably is no volume. It's 48 days after rollover. And if you don't even have, I don't even have 12 on my chart yet. I haven't created the instrument to use. So I go to Tools, Instrument Lists, put it in the Futures folder. So click the Futures folder, click on Add, and if I want to check the ZB 1221, I've just added it. Now I can right click over add instrument ZB1221, and there's two contracts trading. There's nothing trading except ZB9 right now, really. Okay. So you know ZB9 is the contract to trade. Now you could do that with corn, and you can do that with soybeans, and you can do that with all the various instruments. You want to trade the highest volume. So you go to new, you could create this little template. You go to new, market analyzer, right click, and go to, let's go to remove rows. I hope I'm right. Let's figure it out together. Let me see if I'm right. Hang on, we're going to add a blank row, I think. Oh my goodness. You know, I have a movie how to do this, a video. So I'll have to pull the video out. Bear with me because I always forget myself how to do it. Columns, my mistake. Let's start over. So you go to new, market analyzer, brings up this chart, right click it, go to columns. Okay, and now here's what's on the chart. I'm going to remove the asking price, highlight it, remove. I'm going to remove the bid price. I'm going to remove the last price. And then up top, I'm going to add, I've got the instrument. I'm going to add daily volume, double click it, and I'm going to double click days until rollover. Apply it, okay it. Now I've got my volume chart, my daily volume little chart. Right click a blank space, templates, save as daily volume. Bingo. Now you've got a little daily volume chart. Yes, there is an easy way to cancel all pending orders. Right click inside, right click on the trading panel, Mark, cancel all orders. Right click, cancel all orders. You can also hit the close button. I like cancel all orders. All right, so we have a bond trade. It's been pretty quiet. Let's look at the DMM, the daily market mover, see how it's been. Well, you can see it's been very quiet. 4 ticks, 7 ticks. You know, it's kind of due for a good move. It's kind of due for a good move. Sometimes it'll have a really nice move. Now, sometimes I don't like to use a bracket of 2. Sometimes I like to use a bracket of 3, but the market's so quiet today. The market's really quiet. So you've got a stop of 3. So your risk is $90 per contract, okay? Your risk is $90 per contract because your stop is 3 ticks. So if I'm going to use this strategy exactly as it appears, it would be a bracket of 2. I like brackets of 3 on bond trades, but sometimes you won't hit your first target in a very quiet market. That's the downside of using the slightly bigger bracket. Targets of 2 and 6 with a stop of 3. The entry time, it's the only time that matters in a breakout trade. 13:01:30. Why that time? Because years of study, years. That's fine, Chantal, that's fine. Years of study has shown us that that's the correct time to use for this report. Now, folks on YouTube, I would love if at least a couple of you would give us a like. Give us a like, folks. It really helps our channel. And, you know, we're nice enough to stream for free so you could watch us. You could pay us back by giving us a like. What do you say? I'd really appreciate that. All right, so our setup. The market's very quiet. Normally, I don't like to use a 3-tick bracket, a 2-tick bracket. This market, we're really in the summer doldrums right now. It's the markets have been very quiet for a couple of days now. You still, you know, these are different times than we've ever seen. But you can see volume is way down on bonds than what it normally is. So bracket of 2, I reserve the right to change it to 3 at the last minute. 1 target for 2 ticks, 1 target for 6 ticks. I'm not trading big because this report's been so quiet. It's a breakout trade. I like to label every trade. Get in the habit of showing what instrument you're trading and what the report is, so that when you get to the point where you're able to trade more than one instrument at a time, you can differentiate between the trades, so that if you need to cancel one, or you just do it, strictly it's for cancellation or adding a trade if it's not enabled. All right, and then apply it and okay it. Then put your charts on live. And I'm just debating. I kind of made a promise to myself that I would use 3-tick brackets on these trades. No, John, our software is an ATM. Think about our software. Why would you need to use an ATM when our software is an ATM, right? It lets you do all the things an ATM would let you do. You can, if you would rather spend your time writing ATMs, which I don't ever want to do, you can use ATMs, John, but then all of the internal things that we adjust won't have an effect on the trade. You'll be trading your ATM, okay? But think of our software as a giant ATM. It saves you from having to spend your time writing ATMs. That's what I love about our software. One of the main things I love about it. So this report's been pretty small, not been moving very much. So I'm not dying to throw a ton of risk at it. It's not like the WASDE report. I'm disappointed. I would have traded, 5 contracts on that WASDE. That's the truth. If I didn't get that stupid email from our broker. So before you enable your trade, if you want to be extra safe, you can always double check your entry time, right? If you make a mistake on your entry time, it could trigger your trade early, and you don't want that to happen. So my entry time is correct at 13:01:30, 1:01:30 Eastern time, right? So that's my correct time. So I'm safe enabling my trade. And now I'm also going to make sure I'm in sync, right? I always want to make sure I'm in sync. Time.is. Okay, go to the website, time.is, and that will put me in sync. If it doesn't put you in sync, we have a tool in the drive folder in the trade room called Dimension 4, D4 Time. It's a program you can download, and it will help to put your computer in sync. Okay? Now, the 10-year bond trade is a 60-second cancel. Okay? It's a 60-second cancel. So there are a ton of people here. I'm assuming a lot of people are new members. So I want to welcome you, new members. You know, don't be embarrassed and don't be afraid to introduce yourself and say, hey, I'm a new member. In fact, I would like it if you tell me if you're a new member, because I can't differentiate, because of the way we did the password this week, between new members and folks that we invited in this week. So type in if you're a new member. I'd like to know if you just, because not everybody uses their normal names. I wish you would use your normal names. Okay, hey Jennifer, I know the right. I saw that you were new. Welcome. Thanks for coming in. So Green, see, I don't know your real name, so it makes it hard for me. But welcome to Green Machine. Kim, you've been in last week, right? Weren't you new last week? But that counts as new, for sure. So new members, I would expect new members to be trading in Sim. It takes a few days to get an account set up too, if you're not already on NinjaTrader. It does take a little time. And that again is why we give time. It's why we give time in the trade room, so that you have months. You don't have to rush. We give months. With almost any time we have a sale, we almost always give months of time in the trade room. Right, Cliff. That's right. Good for you. So now we're just waiting until 13:01:30 for our orders to show up. Man, it's hot in my office today. And we're up 275.50. So I'm thinking, not for any reason other than the fact that this trade has not had a big mover in a long time, that it's going to have a decent sized mover. Nimmo, I thought you had traded before for some reason. I didn't know today's was your first real trade. So good for you. Okay, you know what? Sim is the way you become good at live. So you never want to be embarrassed to say that you're on Sim, and no one will ever make fun of you. I've had people that watched me trade for a year before they went live. No joke. No joke. Everybody's different. If you need a year, don't be embarrassed. Take the year. If you need 3 months, take the 3 months. The key is to be comfortable. That's all that matters. Being comfortable. So it's a small bracket. It's only a bracket of 2, okay? I swore I wouldn't do brackets of two, that I would only do threes. The market's so quiet. So from my way of thinking, we've been trading family money we're on our third month. And my account hit a milestone today. It's over 20,000. That's pretty awesome. 1301.30, Kim. The trade is 1301.30 is the entry. So a lot of people ask, why 1301.30? It's only because all the years of study have shown us that that's the best time to put the orders on. Kim, it says 1301 only because we can't fit in the 30. It's 1301.30. It's truly 1301.30. And I'm using brackets of three, folks. I'm using a bracket of three. I swore that's what I would use on my brackets. It could cost me a winning trade if it's a tiny, tiny trade, but I don't like getting filled early on the bond trades. So I use a bracket of three. And sometimes it'll hit that first target and I won't get filled because my bracket's too small, too big. But if there's a big burst, which is what I'm really looking for, I'm looking for a big burst, not a tiny move. So theoretically, we're a 60-second cancel. And I will stick with, I'll probably stick with the cancel. I didn't used to. I would cancel the trade. I'll tell you why. The news is out. The news is out. And it's dull. The news is out and it's pretty dull. Now, if it moves up and I could have made money, I don't care. I don't care. Okay? But I hear that the news came out. There was no response. I heard it in my squawk box. That's why I canceled the trade. It was 5 seconds early. Okay? It was 5 seconds early. And there's no big pop. And that's what I'm trading these bond reports for, a big pop. And it's summer. This trade's been very slow. Its history's been quiet. I don't want to get filled with a two-tick bracket. I just don't. Okay? And that was just no move, not worth trading. Not worth trading. Okay? It's just not happening today. It's not happening. Now, maybe it'll dribble up. It could dribble up from here. It doesn't mean that I'm right 100% of the time, but I'm playing these bond reports for a burst. The news came out over a minute ago, and there was no burst, even anything remotely looking like a burst. So I'm perfectly okay saying goodbye until next month. Anybody that traded WASDE made money already, right?
Hey Lee, Eric here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just wanted to say I think Chantal was gonna end the YouTube stream. I'm not sure if it did already, But really quickly, what I did just now is I listened to you, right? I listened to Lee. It's not behind the scenes, and eventually you guys will see me trading live too. When Lee told me to cancel, I respected. I canceled. And what you could do, and what I did, you could switch to global simulation mode, Lee. And just for fun, I did put in a buy order on Sim just to see what would happen. And what's happening right now, it's hovering one tick of profit. But
Right.
we're what are we now? A couple of minutes out. It's not. It
We're
wasn't the
we're
plan that we
three
had,
minutes
right?
out almost. We're almost
Yeah,
three
yeah,
minutes out. So for me, it's not what I'm looking for in the trade.
exactly right. So listen, not every, even though this is a family money trade, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, this is a family trade. Even if it is a family money trade, we still stick to what our protocols were. And if you want to pull up your DMM, it's right there in bold. If you do not get filled by 0230, cancel the order. So even if Lee didn't have this trade room, right? Let's just pretend Lee got sick today, right? And I wasn't able to cover. And you're out there trading alone, and I see we have members even from Canada. My wife's from Canada. Um, what would you do? Well, again, I have to always say the risk disclosure, right? This isn't, we're not financial advisors, but the DMM kind of tells you, what the game plan is, and the game plan was to cancel. As you can see there, if you're not get filled by 2:30, cancel the order. Now, Lee, I think our YouTube stream might be closing soon, and maybe it already did. But for the folks on the live stream, we definitely want to sign up for our 10minutetrades.com, get into our email list, because Lee actually emailed everybody a free link, free trade room access. How could someone get to our trade room lobby really quickly? What is it? 10 minute. What's the quick link for someone on YouTube right now to
Oh,
get to our lobby, the lobby
it's
page of our YouTube, of our trade room? Is
hold
it
on.
10MT? It's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
10MT Pro. It's 10mtpro.com.
That's
Yeah.
it. I don't have it hand. Truthfully, I don't have it handy.
No, that's okay. So for those of you on live stream, you should go to 10MT Pro. And Lee, what we could do is we'll email everybody the password again for the folks that joined on our live stream, because you could be in the Pro Trade room right now.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
emailing every day. I email
yeah,
every morning so people know
yeah,
what the
yeah, yeah. And Lee,
password
let's
is
get back to
also.
the let's get back to the trade for a second. I know you're on the sale right now, but basically, I also want to share with folks that this actually happened to be, I shared earlier, again, for those that don't know me, I'm Eric Spiker, and I'm one of the founders. And I used to be in Lee's shoes. In other words, I never ran a full trade room like Lee has. But honestly, Lee, I don't know. Did I? Did I ever do anything like this before? Before you came on? I don't remember.
I
I
don't,
think
no, I don't think
I
so.
think it was yeah, I didn't. So that's what Lee Lee has done a great job with this trade room. What I used to do again, is I used to do a lot of recording of my trades, and oh yeah, we used to have a chat room. That's right. Can anyone like this for we have like, what do we have, like 40 people in their trade room? Keep me honest, folks that know me or remember times before Lee. I'm going back to 2014, 15. What we had a chat room before, where we never was showing the trade, but basically everyone would take the trades and then we kind of share results just in chat, believe it or not. And then I'd share YouTube videos, screenshots, etc. But this trade, Lee, can you show the Forex Factory results or whatever it is that you usually use?
Yeah,
Okay. And by the way, I said I took a sim order just for the kicks, and guess what, Lee? You steered everyone correct,
yeah, we'd
because
lose now.
you'd be minus two ticks right now. It's still hovering minus one tick. So that's why we have the rule. So basically, my point is that even though this was a family money trade, we have parameters, and we're going to stick to them. And one of the parameters was close after 2:30. We closed, and guess what? I still see green on the board, and so should everyone who traded this morning on the WASDE. Well, actually, not this morning, this afternoon. So that's just the way it plays sometimes. And that actually, believe it or not, as simple as this, And a lot of this is simple concepts, okay? And that's why, again, why I love our program is because the folks who don't stay consistent, who are greedy, who stayed in there 10 seconds later, well, they might be in the trade right now, and they may be a little uncomfortable. You know what I mean? So that's why we have these rules, and you wanna get to know yourself a little bit better, and trading will share that with you. Are you someone that could, be disciplined enough to stick with your game plan, or at 2:30 you stay in there because you're so excited. You know what I mean? So that is very real. That is real talk. So for those who are new members, this is one of the skill sets that you're going to have to pick up on, is that recognizing that even if Lee was not here today and you're on your own, would you have been able to get out at 2:30? Because Lee's not always going to be there to always tell you what to do, and that's something that I want you to be mindful of, right? If you are trading this
I'm
alone,
gonna drop dead soon. It's inevitable.
no, no, no. Lee,
It's
Lee knows, and
inevitable.
Lee, we are so grateful for Lee. Coming into the trade was my second trade room in a week. I love Lee. So happy that he's here. But give me some feedback for those in the trade room. Who was disciplined enough to get out? Did everyone get out at 2:30? Give us some feedback. Who exited at 2:30? And then tell me if you had how did you get out? Okay, there's actually an easy way to get out, which is clicking the enabled button, which I don't want you to do that right now in live mode. But what are some ways that people could get out, Lee, when it's time to get out before the strategy kicks in?
The main way to get out is now don't make sure your charts are on sim, everybody. Don't start
Otherwise,
clicking
yeah,
things
yeah,
unless
yeah,
you're on sim. But you can check and also make sure your account is not on live, right? My account's on live. Go into your
right.
strategy and put yourself on sim, okay? So you don't accidentally enter into a trade while I'm showing you something. Sim, all right? Apply it. Now I can check. Let's say you're in a trade and you have the trade checked off, right? And your orders are on the chart, and they'll probably show up on the chart because, see, they'll show up because time has already passed. That's why the orders show up. Let's say you want to cancel that trade. You can hit the close button. That's one real easy way to cancel a trade.
Yeah,
Number
and that's
two,
what Mark and Langford did
yep,
as well.
and you can uncheck the checkbox,
Yeah, that's
but
my
not on
favorite way.
not on a trap trade. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Oh, well, then I was going to say that if your charts are on the wrong format, you won't see your orders. If your charts are live, but your order is sim, you're not going to see your orders. Okay. Very, very honest newbie mistake. I did it 1,000 times when I first started.
And that's another thing, is that as simple as this is, it's making the time, because you will make those newbie mistakes. Even myself, I haven't been trading as often as I like to be, and you just get rusty sometimes. You know what I mean? So you're gonna make mistakes, and you're better off making these mistakes in sim. And I really, really liked
Absolutely.
what I really liked. Oh, thanks very much, Chantal. Yeah, so thanks, Chantal, for folks. Chantal, is our live stream still on?
Yeah.
It is. Lee, I don't know what Dan has to say, but I don't know for this week. I know we kept it exclusive for the password for the room. I'm not sure if we could put that up there on the lobby page. Is that
We,
something that you could?
I think we
Or we could.
did. I'll check. I think we did. I'll double check.
I don't. I don't see
No,
it
you don't
here.
see it?
No. Yeah. So let's see, what did Chantal say? It's still on. Okay. So Chantal, and for everyone on YouTube, it's thanks to our amazing Chantal who's streaming live, right? So yeah, we've expanded quite a bit. It's not just me, Jay, and Lee. We have team members behind the scenes. So Chantal does streams every day, and go to 10mtpro.com. She posted the link, and then later on, Lee's gonna put the password for our free trade room week. But again, if for some reason the best thing is for you to go ahead and subscribe at 10minutetrades.com. This way it's more timely and you'll get the next email alert. But we were basically debriefing this trade. You were going to show up the results. Did you pull that up yet for
Yeah,
the
there's
WASDE?
this trade.
I
There's
mean, bonds.
virtually, yeah, there's nothing to show. It didn't move, but I'll show it. I was just rendering the
Yeah, no,
video.
no, the result. No, the results. I mean, the forecast, the Forex Factory. Oh, you
Oh
have it right
yeah, yeah,
there.
yeah. It's on. Look at the lower right side of my screen, and it's
Yeah.
on investing.com.
Yeah, so what on investing.com, if it had been a significant change, would it be a color change? Like
No,
how
they
would
don't.
someone
Not on bonds. On they don't really do anything except show the numbers on bonds.
all right,
Bonds
so
are a
I'm
little bit tricky to read the result, if you know what I mean, unless you really know a lot about bonds.
I do
You
know
might
what you
not
mean.
know what that news means.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I do know what you mean, and that's why I'm pulling up Forex Factory to see if they the way that they give their okay, yeah. No, 100%. I mean, that's something to talk about, Lee. I think that I at 1.37, 2.4. So how did you, Lee? How did you get? I know you had the squawk box up. How did you get comfort that the news was dull? What did they
Because
say?
the squawk box. Well, two things: the reaction. I've
Yes.
looked at so many of these bond trades. I mean, we trade four a month, right? So four a month
Hmm.
for the past 5 years. Think of how many bond trades I've looked at. I know when it doesn't move after the news is out that the odds are good it's going to be dull. And I heard in my earpiece on
Hmm.
Financial Juice that the news was out and it was dull. It also was not a very big difference between the number expected and the number returned, the percentage.
Right.
So,
Yes. No, that's helpful to know. And by the way, I'm just getting back into the trade, co-moderating, for second time. But I think what I like to do is I like to be the voice of the members. And so when I'm asking Lee these questions, I'm really just thinking I'm a member. Lee is literally guiding me too right now. So I'm trying to figure out, and I'm trying to keep the dialogue open for things that I want new members specifically to pick up on. And so another thing for you to know is that there are some trades, and this is one of them of the 10-year bonds, where even if you're on forextreasury.com and investing.com, just looking at the forecast, just looking at the 1.371%, you're not going to know whether that's a dull report or not. So that's why it's helpful and okay to have a squawk box subscription like Financial Juice. And the way basically what that is it's basically like a live stream where somebody's all the major reports that are coming on instead of virtually, excuse me, instead of looking at the screen, it's audio. It's like think of it like a running a radio show where they only come on when big things happen. And so that is a very powerful tool to consider, and we'll send more information about it. It's nothing for you to worry about right now. It's not like you need that this moment. In fact, you don't need it because Lee is actually sharing with us. If you're watching the trade room, it's one of the added benefits is that when he hears the news in his ear, he's sharing it with us. Is that right, Lee? You usually share
yep,
what you
yeah,
get from Financial
always,
Juice, right?
always.
Yeah. So that's an added benefit which people probably don't even realize from being a trader member is that we have subscription to professional services like Financial Juice, and we're sharing that information with our members. Lee, before I go, I just want to share one quick story on this trade, and then then I'll let you do your thing. Okay?
Yeah, I know what you're going to say. Go ahead.
I don't think you know this one.
Okay.
This one's a true story. I was living in Brooklyn at the time. You know the story?
No, maybe not.
No, you don't know the story. I walked out. I was living in a four-family house. I walked out of my apartment for a second. I locked myself out. So this was like at 11 o'clock in the morning or something like, or maybe a little earlier, like 9, 10:30. So what do? Right? Well, what was on my mind was trading this report because this is a report, just so you know what the potential is. This is a report that I used to make. And I'm not saying I made this on a daily basis, but I've made $1,500 on this report and on the 30-year bond. I made thousands of dollars on this report. So I get locked out of my apartment. Um, what I do is I go to my neighbor. Okay, it's nice to have neighbors that you're friendly with, And basically, I call my wife. I call my she's not available. She's a dental hygienist. I call my mom. She had my spare key. She's in the city. I think she was going to a doctor's office. Make a long story short, um, I think my neighbor actually gave me $100 too, and I didn't even ask for it. I think he did. I think he gave me $100, or maybe I just told the cab. That part is a little blurry to me, but I think he did give me $100 bill. I took a car service to Manhattan, car service, so it's a little dated. No Uber. This is like 2014, I think. To the city, met my mom, gave me the spare key, made it back in time for this trade, and that was a time where I literally remember making at least $1,100. So I had no problem returning the $100. And this is the type of trade of like when we talk about family money trades, this was a trade that with no joke was on my radar that I had to trade. You know what I mean? And that's what I was talking about before about being disciplined, because it's not about trading the one contract right now and letting it ride. Like, let's say you didn't cancel it. What are you gonna do in 2 years from now or 6 months from now when you start to get more serious at this and realize the potential at this? If you really apply yourself and really stick to the rules and apply good risk management, think about how you're going to be feeling with 10 contracts on the board. Are you gonna be willy-nilly and let it ride at 230? That's what Lee and I are trying to prepare you for. Okay, so the same way that you're trading on sim right now, and again, I echo what Lee says, and I'm believe me, I do like action. Okay, and you can take that for what that means, gambling, whatever you want to say. I like action. I'm a married guy. I have two small kids. I like this. I like some action, right? Um, but at the same time, be disciplined, because it's very true what he said. You want to be comfortable when you start making your first trade, and the way to get your jitters out is by practice. The more practice you're going to take on sim, the more confident you're going to be on at least knowing how to use the functionality of our software, understanding of how to get out of a trade, in of a trade. And folks, I could ramble for hours, but basically, those are just a few things. I hope that my insights were helpful. And I know Lee asked people to introduce themselves before. And I see we still have 30 people here. But again, I'm Eric Spiker, one of the partners at 10-Minute Trades. And I used to be running the show for a while. Lee came on, and it's Lee's show now. But I'm back, baby, and I'm very happy to be here. And you will be seeing me on some of the big reports, and I will be sharing my live results with you. But great job today, Lee, keeping everybody safe. And I look forward to getting to interact with a lot of folks. Just really quickly, can we, anyone here in Florida? I'm just curious if I have any antimony trade folks here in Florida or Southeast maybe. And Lee, you could take it away. I know you were showing the family money trades, but uh, um, it was fun being in the room with you today. It really was.
Thanks, Eric. I'm going to help somebody with a problem in the room, so no problem. You made money, dude.
Oh,
In your
me?
account. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I did. I know.
That's
Guys.
great.
I'm basically starting over with my
Eric's a newbie.
trading
He doesn't
account.
want to admit it. Eric's a newbie for like the next week.
Yes, I am.
And that's allowed. And everybody's a newbie. So it's really okay.
I'm getting back into the swing of things. Lee has made so many updates to the software. It's unbelievable. But I am ready to rock and roll. And just let me just talk on that point, because there's no like hiding. When I came into the business, right, my focus before coming into the business was always on my own trading account, right? It's a my trading account, the end all be all. And when I came in as from being a member to being on the business side, you know the whole thing changes, because now I'm looking for my main focus is on my members doing well and having a positive experience. So that is true. I have not been trading a lot behind the scenes, because quite frankly, that isn't the core focus of what I need to be doing. There's so many things I'm working on behind the scenes in terms of ensuring that we have good quality trade room, etc. Having someone like Lee doing this thing, But I am one of the things that I wanted to do in 2021. My goal was to start trading again, because you can't just delegate that. Everyone needs to be in the game trading, and so I'm going to be doing a lot more of that. Hey, listen, Lee, there is one last thing, not to dwell,
Yeah.
but I think you mentioned it, but you didn't really make a big thing about it, and that is our trading account, right? So our company trading account, and by the way, I saw John. I saw John from the trade room. You were with me in 2014. Great to hear from you again as well, buddy. So at least one person remembers me, and for everyone else, it's okay. It's okay. I'm glad to meet everyone in 2021 and start anew. But yeah, our trading account right there, right? So we made an investment in 2020. Was it 2020, Lee? When did we open this thing up?
Yeah, 2020. 2020.
Yeah. Yeah, so we opened up, and how much was our trading account?
We opened with 15, we got down to 13 something, and that's when we started rethinking how we
Yeah,
wanted to do things.
yeah, that's right, that's right. So, bottom line is where we hit a nice milestone of from $15,000, we're now at $20,000, and like Lee said, it's really almost I don't want to say almost doubled, but from really went from 13, and that's really only when we applied this family money trades philosophy. Because I'll tell you, if Lee doesn't want to admit it, he will. Lee at a time felt that he needed to be doing all these trades, that it was indebted, part of your subscription, you're paying for the trade room, let's we have to show the live trades. But you probably heard this from Lee already, but we we've kind of took a reset, and he said, no, 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 let's stick with the best. And once we've done that, from 13,000 to 20,000, and how long has that been, and what time frame?
About 3 months, not even
3 months.
3 months.
And we're not, and you're not, in unlike me. And if you don't know, my one of my claims to fame, in fact, I was actually once investigated on this because I made this claim on a webinar, and I had the broker statements to prove it. Is I took a $2,000 account, I turned it into over 20,000 in also 3 months. Okay, but I was very aggressive in trading a lot of contracts. Like and those are the days where one contract you can make $700 on a WASDE trade. Um, but for you, you didn't trade 20 contracts. I mean, you probably did trade a handful of contracts on some reports, but I would say on average, you probably trade like two, three, maybe, right?
To
Two,
going
three contracts.
a little bigger on the trades that I love, like WASDE but not
Yeah.
today, unfortunately, because of the stupid email I got. Normally,
No, no,
WASDE I'll do four,
no.
and
Yeah, but I think what you accomplish is even better. It's even more impressive because you're what you've done is something that I expect somebody that's a new member and you want to do this seriously, right? That you're not coming in with a $3,000 account. That you have at least
right.
5,000, preferably 10,000, preferably 15,000. And if you are someone that has a $10,000-15,000 account, and you were disciplined enough to stick to the family money trades, to make an additional $5,000 with just a few seconds of your time every, how many family money trades are there now,
I can't
roughly?
give you any. We're averaging about 2 to 4 a week right now.
Okay, that's amazing. So that's so that's the bottom line, is that by trading less, making more, and actually making a very strong profit. So with that milestone, Lee, I'll let you run through our special one more time before you close out. I mean, folks, hopefully you appreciated this conversation today. I'm not going to be on every day, so don't get worried if you prefer it when it's just Lee. No worries. But when I do come on, I'm trying to be the voice of a member, because like even the things that I asked Lee to go over, that was helpful for me too, to remember how do you close out when he tells you to close out. So I hope you guys take advantage, for those on the fence, of this amazing opportunity, which Lee will go over, 10minutetrades.com/fireworks. It's not going to be on for much longer. That's one of the things that we've really have done as well, is that we really do respect, when we offer an opportunity, a sales opportunity, it's never going to be out there forever. It's going to be there for a select period, and we don't do these as often. Okay. And we want to make sure that when we bring in, let's say 10 new members, okay, or maybe 15 members, we really want to give you the attention that you need. and that's why we'll continue to be a small shop. And I'm very happy to have 30 members here right now with us, and that's the way it's going to be. All right. So we rarely sell in the room. That's right, Lee. So I'm Eric Spiker. I'll be back, and feel free to email Lee. Let me know if you could let me know. Hold on a second. Let me give my email address before I go. So I guess I'll give this one out. eMoney at
Or you could use help at 10-minute trades.
okay.
And anything that comes in, I'll forward it to you.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to say hello to me, or give feedback about today's trade room, any questions, you could direct your email to me. Lee will forward it to me, but I want to make sure I'm accessible to you. Help at 10minutetrades.com. Just send a note. You can introduce yourself. That's one of the things I really want. I want to build out our community. I want us to engage more. I want everyone to know each other. And you're going to see that some things I'm working on behind the scenes. If you don't have Facebook, make sure you get Facebook soon. Lee, take it away and have a great rest of your week, everyone. I'll be back probably on Wednesday. Do we have any trades on Wednesday, Lee?
Yeah, we've got, yeah, hold on. We definitely have crude, but not a family money on crude. We've got, core PPI, family money. Wednesday night, Australia jobs, family money.
Oh, wow.
So 2 trades Wednesday, and Canada bank rate statement. I've been looking at that. It didn't work last time, but it's had some good movement. So it's not a family money trade, but it's a trade I'm watching.
Holy crap. I'm missing a few trades tomorrow. Too bad.
Tomorrow's
All right,
busy.
guys.
Yeah, tomorrow's busy.
All right, Lee, do your thing. I'm going to leave, and I hope to see everyone on Wednesday. All right. And I really enjoyed the session. Thanks a lot, Lee.
All right, Eric. I'll see you later.
See you later.
All right. So Green, your sync is off. So folks, anybody's welcome to stick around. I'm just helping Green with his sync.